So hey guys, today we're going to be making a kind of flip deck. So the only goal for today is just to have like infinite recursion with a flip deck. So idea basically is that we want some flip monsters with some flip effects, and we want their effects to be activatable both or just a lot of times in general, really. So if we what we will need is some sort of effects that trigger on flip, right? And then we'll also want a way to essentially just reset those monsters, so we want to be able to flip them face down also, so we can flip them back face up later. Doesn't all have to be in the same turn, just we should be able to do this in general. So good candidate to start with, I guess. I was thinking about Geo, the Gravity Ninja. If this guy is just on the field in general, this can flip itself face down plus another card. So it doesn't specify anything about like what card we're flipping face down. So we can flip like Geo face down. We can flip Geo plus one of our opponent's cards. We usually do want to be flipping Geo though, because then we'll be able to flip Geo again on a later turn. It is okay to have, I guess, Geo face up technically if we had something able to put Geo face down as well. But yeah, Geo has the effect here of if a monster in the field is flipped face up, so not in the damage step, you can destroy one card your opponent controls just in general, which is kind of nice. A little bit sometimes when it does trigger, but doesn't come up that often, like at all, honestly. What even triggers that again? I think it has to be like Mitsu, right? This is the only card that triggers probably Geo, like in terms of just ninja cards, right? That's the only way you have to flip something face up, I think, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the only way. So the thing about Geo though is that this card's actually generically useful, so we don't have to play this with Ninja at all. So we're not going to worry about the setup for this too much at the moment. We're just going to look for parts and pieces. Next up, this could this competes a lot with Geo. So the thing about Subterra Gru and Geo, well, the difference, one of the major differences between these two effects is that, well, Gru always has to flip itself face down, I believe, right? You can target one other face-up monster in the field, change that monster also this card to face down defense position. So Geo can technically flip two of your opponent's cards face down, whereas Gru can only flip one ever. But Guru also has the effect to do this as a quick effect, which could be useful. There's also the fact that you get like an Omni Negate with the Guru. You can also flip a lot more freely with Guru, but it's kind of janky, honestly. So if we Guru effect, we can flip face down Guru plus one of our own cards, flip Guru back face up, and then use Guru effect again, right? Guru has hard ones for turns though. But in general, yeah, I guess. We can activate Guru's flip effect on like, in theory, like turn 1 and then turn 2. Whereas with Geo, it's probably only going to activate on either like turn 1 or turn 2. It's probably not going to activate on both. And if it is going to activate, it should typically activate on like turn 2. This can flip your own cards face down as well. And also your opponent cannot change, I guess, their position after they get flipped face down. They're kind of flipped face down forever, which is more useful as kind of removal. If we pair this with Final Battle, it's not even that good, is it? The only thing about this is that it's a quick effect. Well, it allows Guru's flip to be like quick effect, I guess. And then we can more freely flip Guru face up and face down, which matters for Subterra Fiendus. which is going to be essentially a kind of omni-negate, but I don't know if you can very easily access like Fiendus plus Screw and kind of keep looping these guys. I mean, you can kind of loop these guys if you have like Cave Clash, but there's like a lot of Subterror requirement. Essentially, we have to be playing a lot of Subterror cards to really get their value. So it doesn't feel that great either. If we had something similar to Dharma Karma Cannon, that would be very, very helpful actually. But we don't necessarily want Dharma Karma Cannon in a sense because it's not searchable and you would have to hard open it, and you only have, for the most part, 3 copies of Dharma Karma Cannon unless you play some searchers for it, which then require other cards to meet those conditions. So that kind of ends up sucking a bit. So yeah, not too happy about this stuff. The effects are powerful, but I don't think we can really pull this off per se. The Enneacraft cards are pretty good too, though. Or flip-based things. The only downside is that you can't special summon the turn you want to activate these effects. And it doesn't really help with triggering your other flip cards necessarily. So if I had like Geo randomly with my Enneacraft cards, sure, I could set Geo face down, but I can't do anything with that face down Geo, right? So that sucks. Well, actually, no, wait. You could flip it face up, actually, I believe, right? Maybe. Let's check. Change one face down defense position, Enneacraft monster. Nope. The synergy ends with their effect to special summon monsters in face down defense position. And yeah, that's it. What do we want to do here with our flip effects? Anyways, I mean, the Geo effect is, at this point, you could argue that it's kind of an inferior version of the Enneacraft card right here, like the Atorimar. But there's an issue with like Atorimar in the sense that it's not really better than Geo per se. Like it has the similar effect, if not the same effect, arguably. Change all your opponent's monsters to face down defense position here. So regardless of the trigger on this, if we want to use either of their effects for this, well, if our opponent controls one monster and we flip that face down, we get no mileage, right? If they have 5 monsters, that's never going to happen. For the most part, it should never happen, right? If they have 2 monsters on the field, they'll probably convert that to an extra deck monster, giving us, once again, no mileage. So the most mileage we're getting out of like this type of card would be if we're flipping 2 cards face down, and this happens to just flip 2 face down either way. So this only changes your opponent's monsters to face down defense position. So well, if I take these cards at kind of like face value, they're like pretty much exactly the same card with no difference. They're even both trigger effects. Neither of these are quick effects. So not really showing too much mileage, but if you do combine the two, you can technically do that, I guess. So if I activate Geo the Gravity Ninja and a Torimar, we could reasonably flip 4 of our opponent's cards to face down defense position. And that can help us deal with those guys, I guess. A little bit. But actually, I have an idea. This isn't fully going to be flip monsters, but what if we did this? So Albion is actually ridiculously accessible. We can just throw in like effect filler in the main deck in theory, like to just facilitate the summoning condition, I guess. And then we have Verte. Send, I don't know, let's say added fusion. And then we'll need to send a Fallen Evolve as well. So this is like kind of a darn it, but it's like fine. I wouldn't be too upset about this. Some sort of Fallen Evolve doesn't really matter. If you play this one or the white Fallen Evolve but yeah. Albion effect. We can give our opponent like whatever, shouldn't super matter what we give them. And then we want to special summon to our field, probably a Geo the Gravity Ninja, right? We could do something like that. I will read this effect real quick to see if this would work at all. If your opponent normal or special summons a monster, so it's not a card summoned to their field like Promethean Princess. Okay, that doesn't really, that doesn't quite trigger it. But in theory, if I were to trigger a Torimar after like Albion, that would give my opponent an additional monster. So assuming they're at 2 and I give them a third one, I'm flipping face down 3 monsters, and that clogs up 3 of their zones, leaving them 2. So if they summon 2 monsters and then I activate Geo after that, like the sequencing on this is like terribly difficult to do, honestly. Then we can Geo effect later, but Geo would probably be summoned with Albion effect. So that's kind of counterproductive, but if we do Geo first, that's not that bad because maybe my opponent can't use effect failure on the field for anything, but even if they could use it for something, if I flip face down 2 of their monsters and then 1 of their monsters plus effect failure, they're only left with 1 monster zone anyways, and then they're left with just EMZ plus their main monster zone, which they shouldn't be able to summon anything to the extra monster zone unless they're able to perform a fusion summon. Which is possible, but that's just a downside with flips. And technically there's some XYZ monsters that could be used to make stuff in general, like, let's say Typhon. So that could be, like, slightly problematic. But I do like the idea of using Albion to, in general, like, get us access to Geo. Big fan of this, actually. Is there something else we could do? Is having this? We can also technically flip a Torimar face down with Geo as well, and then flip it back face up now that I think about it. And then to flip it back face up, we have the idea of using, like, I guess Beauregard is the easy one, but we could just manually flip things face up after a certain point. But being able to do it as a quick effect is actually really helpful as well. Just think things face up in general, right? Don't really know how we would put Geo into the graveyard, but that makes it a lot easier. Now we don't have to have it like set face down on field or whatever, and then we would need some way to trigger this as well. Doing that is probably a little bit more difficult to do, I think. The Torimar. Accessing this is like relatively possible. It's not like the easiest thing in the world to do, but it's not like the most difficult either. Wait, was there a Subterra that just flipped everything face down, maybe? Flip, your opponent cannot destroy Subterra cards. Banish a monster, set Foolish. Well, this is better than Foolish Burial, it's just send anything, it's like Curious. Target a set monster your opponent controls, take control of it. Discard, guys. Target one monster field, change it to face up attack position. Was that it? Do they not have a Book of Moon type of act? aside from Guru? I guess not. Okay then. They can flip themselves face up and face down, I guess. Without, like, too much difficulty. Oh, right. Invoked. Forgot about these guys. Technically, we can easily make Ragin and multiple Ragin at that, right? This requires Alistair, the Invoker, plus one wind monster. So the issue is that it requires a wind monster. Well, aside from that, we can very easily access, like, Alistair, right? You can fusion summon one Magistus or invoke fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field. Hand or field wind monster. If we have access to Ragin just allows us to do a lot in general. Ragin's kind of weird though, honestly, a little bit. There's a soft once per turn on the book effect. For one, but how hard is it actually to set up this stuff? I forgot I had a royal of this also. But let's see. Wind. Where do we get Alistair from? Field spell? We could do that. But where would we get a wind monster from though? A link 2? There are a lot of wind link 2s. No wind link 1 we could freely access, I don't think. We'd summon Alistair, I guess. Or Ragin. And then if Ragin hits the graveyard, that's material to make another Ragin. In theory, right? We don't really have that many effects that put our guys, like, face up, though. This is the pain of not being a flip enthusiast, I suppose. Well, actually, now that I think about that, there was one card, actually, that's kind of generically searchable-ish. If we're able to make, like, a rank 1 through 4 monster, we can actually go to ghostrick. And this card's actually generic. Ghostrick Scare. Target any number of face-down defense position monsters you control, change them to face-up defense position, cap the number of Ghostrick monsters among them, and if you do change up that many face-up monsters your opponent controls to face-down defense position, minimum 1. So with Ghostrick Scare, if we have monsters just in face-down defense position, we can... Well, wait, does this need to... Wait, we can just use this to link summon anything? Okay. Does this do anything, actually? Not really. Okay. So, basic idea is using any, like, of these guys. We have rank 1, 2, 3 here. All of these guys go into Ghostrick Angel of Mischief. And if we make Ghostrick Angel of Mischief, this allows you to just generically add any Ghostrick spell or trap from your deck to your hand. And if we add Ghostrick Scare, it doesn't matter that none of our face downs are Ghostrick monsters. It's just that this is tech to get our monsters face up, I guess. So that's something. I don't really know how we're accessing those necessarily, but any of these 3 will do, or we can just make Ghostrick Angel of Mischief itself. So, for example, if we did Diabellstar, grabs, Snake Eyes, I don't even remember what that card was called, but then we go through, like, Poplar, Snake Eyes Ash, get those two on the field. We can then eventually make Angel of Mischief, get some link materials to maybe make like the Atlantis and Beauregard, I guess. In theory, maybe make like a Verte after as well. No idea. But either way, at some point we can grab like a ghostrick scares, set all of our guys face down, maybe to face down defense position. If we had a better way, aside from just the Atlantis, to set our guys face down, that'd be kind of ideal, actually. I don't think any of these set your cards face down, right? Yeah, no. Okay. We kind of floodgate our opponent with like Neko Musume and stuff, but that's like ghostrick stuff. So from here, if we have Albion, we can continuously just keep reborning stuff, like, but only moderately, right? Because we have to summon a guy to our opponent's zone, right? It does have this graveyard effect, actually. Contribute 4 monsters, the 2 in the extra monster zones, and the 2 in the center main monster zones, and if you special summon this card. That's not like actually that useful, is it? I mean, it's actually relevant probably to this list specifically a little bit, but do we want to tribute stuff off of our opponent's field even? Not necessarily, right? Can't really think of anything else to add on to this. I could probably make a combo that ends on like this kind of endboard that I want with yugioh in the graveyard plus Satori Mar face down on the field, and then maybe access some invoke stuff. But at this point in time, do we have enough flip effects actually? Because I think I just want my whole board to be just full of just flip effects in general. The flip like stuff, face down, face up. Did Mimigol have anything relevant for this? Might as well check. Mimigol Monster controls this with face up. Not relevant. Had a Mimigol. No. How about this one? I think this was relevant, right? Reveal 2 flip monsters with different names from your deck. Your opponent randomly picks one for you to special summon to their field. And you add the other to your hand. That's only useful for floodgating your opponent, I think. So, not really super useful here. I mean, it seems fine as a concept for now. I might expand on it like later a little bit, but this is just like some tech I've found over like I don't even know how long, but you know, just some tech really. So in terms of flip stuff, it's probably fine, I guess. This is searchable if we can make rank 4. So we could make, in theory, like 2 rank 4s. One of them grabs yugioh, probably. The other one we can use to make Ghostrick Angel Mischief, make Utopic Draco Future. We have access to this. And then a Torimar, I don't know how we would access this exactly. But then we'd also need like Beauregard the Atlantis to really get mileage out of it, I guess. For this, actually, I think the logical way to do this, well, because we're also running Branded Fusion and like Fallen of Albaz, like this random Fallen of Albaz, we could go Sir yugioh, put these cards back, and then Sir yugioh special summons a Torimar. Don't know how we're searching this still, But special summon this gets converted to a Zealantis, and then later we can convert our cards into maybe like a Beauregard or something, and then work out from there. We don't necessarily need a Verte either. We could just access the branded synchro stuff as well to go into Albion. Technically, that also works out fine. Like, I wouldn't say it's like the best thing we could be doing with this stuff, but it's okay. If we have access to Ecclesia and also Fallen and the Virtuous, we can reborn Geo as well. And then Geo can like flip more of our opponent's cards like face down and kind of block them. So that could be cool, I guess. And yeah, that's all I got for you guys today, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.